You can hear me, you can see me. Okay. All right. Thank you. Nishingadev Bhagwan ki jai. Just hope no more obstacles. So, Hare Krishna to all the devotees of different temples of Australia, New Zealand, and all the other cities who have joined today. Please accept my humble obeisances. Vancha kalpataru bhayascha kripa sindhuvevacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha ananta koti vaishnavrinda ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Apne apne Gurudev ki jai. So thank you, Venu Vadik Prabhu, for your very kind introduction. I am also very eager to meet the devotees there. I've been in touch with few of them, and yes, I'm very, very happy to be with all of you today and to speak about the most auspicious Purushottam month, the very, very favorite month of Lord Shri Krishna. So, Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita 11.23, he says, Kalosmi, I am the Kala. Krishna is the time, he is the Kala. So now the question is, if Krishna is Kala, if Krishna is the time, that means every moment is auspicious. Everything is auspicious because Krishna is the time. So how come there is something we call more auspicious or less auspicious? Actually, every moment is auspicious because Krishna himself is the time. But as we go further into this topic, we will see how Krishna has empowered certain days, certain months, certain tithis with lots of power, and why so we will be going into it. But Narad Muni has a different take. Narad Muni says that every moment without Krishna's katha is what is inauspicious. He says in the Narada Bhakti Sutra, he says, Taddinam durdinam manye meghachanam na durdinam. He says that some people say that if it's cloudy, it's an inauspicious day. But Narad Muni says, no, I don't think so. A cloudy day is an inauspicious day. So because if it's cloudy, it's going to rain, we can't do our day-to-day work. So people think it's inauspicious. But he says that I feel that Yaddinam, said that day, when Krishna Katha says, Krishna Samlapam, Katha Piyusha Varjitam, the day somebody has not heard the Katha of Krishna, he says, I feel that day is the most inauspicious day. So that means for us devotees, every day is auspicious because we are hearing Krishna Katha, we are taking Krishna's prasad, we are associating with Krishna's devotees, we are chanting Krishna's name, we are looking at Shri Krishna's Vigraha, we are reading about Krishna. So, but the only day that we don't do that is inauspicious, but rest otherwise everything is auspicious. Now, what is this Purushottam month and why is it so important? Now, the thing is, as long as we are all living in this world, we are doing some or the other kind of activity. Now, the problem is, whatever activity that we are doing in this world is the cause of our bondage. Like Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, there are 3 types of karma. There is karma, there is akarma, and then there is vikarma. So vikarma is when we are doing something, activity which is against the scriptures. It gives us bad results, we suffer. And then karma is something that we do, let's say, good activities. It gives us good results and then we enjoy. But the problem with karma and vikarma is good and bad. We keep doing it, then we have some consequence, and that consequence encourages us or motivates us to execute another action, whether good or bad. And then again, after performing that action, whether it is good or bad, we do another action, and then there is a consequence for that action. And again, the whole thing, what I'm trying to say, it's very cyclic. Our life is not linear. It's not that there is cause and then there is, effect and then there is a full stop. It's not like that. It goes roundabout and roundabout. So now what is happening? This cycle of karma, vikarma is keeping us in this cycle of material world, birth, death, old age and disease. The only way one can get out of it is by doing akarma. And akarma is devotional service. And the best opportunity for us to do this akarma is especially during these kind of tithis like Purushottam month. So why? Because during the other months, one may be motivated to do something because of good tithis available, some auspicious work, some ritualistic activities. But because Purushottam, there is no such thing available. The only activity that a person can do is akarma, that is devotional service, because only that has effect in Purushottam. So it is very, very important, because only these kind of tithi and the activities associated with these kind of months can remove us from the cycle of birth and death. So what is this Purushottam month? When does it happen? Why does it occur? So the mathematical calculation is, the Vedic system follows two calendars, the solar calendar and the lunar calendar. The solar calendar is according to the movement of the sun. So now there is a little difference between the movement of the sun and the movement of the moon, the way they complete their orbits. So the moon completes its orbit in 354 days point something, and the sun completes its orbit in 365 days point something. So now there is a difference of around 11 days between the sun and the moon completing its whole orbit. So now what happens, every year that this 11-day difference keeps accumulating, by the end of 3 years it becomes like a whole 1 month of difference between the solar and the lunar calendar. So now, just to make this both calendars equal, there is one extra month added. So this extra month comes every 32 months. 32 months, 16 days, 8 ghadis. One ghadi is 24 minutes. So after every 32 months, 16 days and 8 ghadis, they add this Adhik Maas. So Adhik basically in Sanskrit or Hindi means Adhik, that is extra month. So usually we have 12 months, but after every 32 months, this Adhik Maas has been added to balance or make the solar and the lunar calendar equal. Now, in the Vedic scriptures, we see that everything is personified. The mountain is person, the hill is a person, the river is a person, everything is a person. Similarly, these months are also person, and they are people, and they have a presiding deity. So now every month has a, with Chaitra, Vaishakha, Jeshta, Falgun, everybody has a presiding deity. But this month, because it is an extra month, it did not have any presiding deity. So that is why what happens is, when this month comes into existence, the presiding lady of the month, she is very upset, because everybody is calling her Adhik, you are extra, unnecessary, unwanted. Because there are no tithis in that month, there is nobody gets married or enters into a new home or does anything on that month. So nobody bothers about her. So this story actually comes in Padma Puran. This also comes in Skanda Puran. This comes in various places. This beautiful story is mentioned. Of course, the story is a story inside a story inside a story. You'll have to hear it very carefully to understand, because this glory of Purushottam month was actually spoken by Lord Shri Krishna himself. When he went to Kamyavan, there is, in Vrindavan, there are many forests, right? There is Kamyavan, Lohavan, Bahulavan, Belvan. So there is one place called Kamyavan. And the Pandavas, during their exile, they were staying in Kamyavan. So it once so happened that Krishna went and visited them during the exile. Now Krishna, being a, Bhakta Vatsala, when he sees his devotees are suffering like this, he feels very angry, and he gets very angry, and he's telling Yudhishthira, I will kill Duryodhan, I'll kill him. So then Yudhishthira Maharaj pacifies him, my lord, just be peaceful. So after, they pacify him, and they make him sit, they wash his feet, they worship him. And then Krishna is very sad, and he's looking at Yudhishthira, with lots of love and compassion. And then Yudhishthira Maharaj asked this question to Krishna, that how come we are devotees, my lord, we are surrendered to you. Why are we suffering like this? Please tell us the reason of our suffering. So then Krishna opens up this secret of Purushottam month. So he tells a story. He tells Yudhishthira that, listen carefully, I'll tell you why you are all suffering. So there is a story inside a story. Now Krishna tells that whatever I'm telling you was once told by the saints, by the sadhus in Naimisharanyam. So we are going now to Naimisharanya. So it so happened that in the forest of Naimisharanya, when all the sages were seated, they saw Sutta Goswami coming. So they became very happy. So they welcomed him, they gave him an asana, they washed his feet, and they wanted to hear from him. We all know that the best way to associate with a devotee is by hearing. The way we can purify and take advantage of association of a devotee is to hear from them. So they immediately requested Sutta Goswami, can you please speak something? We want to know something from you. So then Sutta Goswami says, well, look, I just came back from Hastinapur where Sukadev Maharaj was speaking with Parikshit Maharaj. So I would be very happy to share with you the glories of Purushottam month, which I heard from Sukadev Goswami. So then he starts narrating what Sukadev Goswami said, what he had heard, the conversation that happened between Narad Muni and Narayan in Badrika Ashram. So this question was asked by Narad Muni to Lord Narayan in Badrika Ashram, that my Lord, I see everybody is going gaga over this Purushottam month. What is this Purushottam month? Why is everybody talking so much about it? So then Narayan explains, look, I'll tell you what is the glory of this Purushottama. And so there are many people talking about Purushottama. Krishna is talking to Yudhishthir, Narayan is talking to Narad Muni, Sukadev Goswami is telling Parikshit Maharaj, and Sutta Goswami is telling to the sages of Naimisharanya. Everybody is talking about the glories of Purushottama. So here it says that this lady, the month Adhik Maas, she was very sad that nobody values me, nobody respects me, so what am I supposed to do? So then she goes to Lord Vishnu, and she's crying, and she's sobbing, and my Lord, please help me. She's falling down, getting up, and so then Lord Vishnu is immediately, you hold on, why are you crying so much? So she said, what am I supposed to do? Everybody is calling me Mala Maas. Mala means stool. So they are equaling me to a stool. So imagine what must be my situation. My Lord, I need your help. Please help me. So then Vishnu Murti, he just consoles, Lord Vishnu just consoles her. I said, all right, I won't be able to help you, but I'll take you to the person who can help you. So then by hand, he holds this Adhik Maas, the Mala Maas, and takes her to Goloka Vrindavan. So now here they are, with Vishnu in the front, and the Adhik Maas, Mala Maas walking behind. They enter Goloka Vrindavan. Now we all know Goloka Vrindavan is very, very effulgent. So she's not able to even take the effulgence. So she's just hiding behind Lord Vishnu. So then that is the way they somehow enter Goloka Vrindavan. So when they enter Goloka Vrindavan, you see, Krishna is not able to see the lady Adhik Maas. He's just able to see Lord Vishnu. But the lady Adhik Maas, she's sobbing. Sometimes when we cry, we are like, we just go like this, and she's making all sorts of noise. And then Krishna says, because in Goloka Vrindavan, nobody cries. Said, who is crying? And then, Vishnuji shows that, here is this Mala Maas, Adhik Maas, and she's crying. And then Krishna is like, stop crying, because nobody cries in Goloka Vrindavan. Goloka Vrindavan is such a place, the moment somebody enters, they become very, very happy. So how come you are crying? See, the Goloka Vrindavan is Chintamani Dham, right? We hear in Brahma Samhita, Brahma says that Katha, Ganam, Natyam, Priyasaki, that whole place is such where every step is a dance, every word is a song, everybody is happy. In Goloka Dham, there is no sorrow, nobody cries. And even if they do cry, the crying is not because of want of some material thing or because of the crying is only in ecstasy. They cry only for when they become very happy, in love for Krishna, right? We know the story of how, in Brihad Bhagavatamrita, Sanatan Goswami tells us the story of Gopakumar, how Gopakumar travels from one planet to another, one place to another, but he's never satisfied. And then finally he reaches Goloka Vrindavan. And when he reaches Goloka Vrindavan, and there he sees that, Krishna is coming, from far off with cows. and then he sees, because the cows are, coming in lot of speed, there is lots of dust which has gone up in the air. So when Gopakumar sees that, and then he sees Krishna coming, he becomes very happy. And then the next moment, when Krishna's eyes fall on Gopakumar, then Krishna comes running and just hugs Gopakumar. And then there is this story where the moment Krishna and Gopakumar, they hug each other, Krishna is telling Gopakumar, where have you been? I was waiting for you. I was waiting for you. Why did it take so long? And Krishna says that, and he faints. And he faints, and Gopakumar faints. Both of them are fainted. They're lying on the floor. And then after some time, Gopakumar just gets up and he sees Krishna is still lying there. And then the birds and the different animals which are there in Goloka Vrindavan, when they see Krishna lying like this and fainted, they're crying and squeaking and making all sorts of noises. And then the gopis come running there, and when they see that Krishna is lying down there, they start crying. What happened to Krishna? And they're crying. And because the gopis are crying, the gopas come there, and when they see Krishna is lying down like this, they start crying. And then Radharani comes there, and when she sees that Krishna is fainted and lying down like that, she starts crying. And then Nanda Maharaj comes there, and then Yashoda Mata comes there, and they start crying. And all the birds, all the animals, all the trees, everybody is crying because they see Krishna is fainted lying on the floor. And then Balaramji comes there and he starts crying. But then Balaramji, he just gains, oh, why am I crying? Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Nothing happens to Krishna. So immediately he tells Gopakumar that go and touch Krishna, rub his body, and when you touch him, then Krishna will be all right. So then Gopakumar, he starts rubbing Krishna's body. And then Krishna gains, he just becomes okay. And then he takes Gopakumar by his hand and they go to Nanda Bhavan, and then they have prasadam together. So why was I telling the story is that yes, there is some crying happening in Goloka Vrindavan, but that crying is only out of ecstasy. Especially Krishna cries there, not anybody else, because when the jivas come back to Krishna, he cries in ecstasy because he has missed them. So he is like, where have you been? I'm waiting for you. So yeah, Krishna cries sometime in Dwarka too. We have heard how the queens of Dwarka, sometimes they share with the Rohini Mata. They say, Mother, sometimes Krishna in the night, he's sleeping, but he's dreaming about the gopis and about the Vrajavasis. And when in the middle of the dream, we see he just slips from his bed and he's on the ground and he's crying. And when we see him like this in the helpless condition, we also cry. Because see, sometimes Krishna in the dream also, he's just imagining some Leela with Lalita or something with Radharani. You see, there is this, I'm reminded of this very beautiful Leela. In the Danakeli Kaumadi, there is this Leela of how, Lalita, among all the gopis, Lalita was a little, what you say, in Hindi, you say Nakchadi, that means a little arrogant one, she is the one who is like tit for tat with Krishna. She will not leave Krishna. So there is one very sweet pastimes, the Vrajavasis talk about that, how, once Radharani and Lalita and Vishakha, they're all taken their pots of butter and milk and ghee, and they're going to Mathura to sell them, selling the milk products. So Lalita is asking Radharani, which route shall we take? So Radharani says, the regular one, we will go from this route. So they say, fine. So they all start walking. Now when they're almost all through, passing through there, they see Krishna there. So now Krishna is like, he just stops all the gopis and he's like, where are you all going? So we are going to Mathura. We want to sell our butter and milk. And then Krishna taunts them. Oh, how simply you tell me you are going to Mathura, as if this is your father's road or what. You have to pay tax before you go. This is not your father's road. Okay, stop and give tax. So then, Radharani, who is just walking behind Lalita, and her, her sari is all the way up to the nose. The Krishna can't see her. So Radharani is whispering to Lalita and saying that, who told you to take this route? if I knew that thugs and robbers are on this route, we could have taken some other route. There are so many routes to go to Mathura. Why did you take this route? And Lalita is like, but Radharani, I asked you which route you will take. You only suggested this road. So while they both are talking, then Krishna is like, okay, so looks like, the queen of Vrindavan has also come. I didn't see you. You're hiding behind Lalita. Acha, you have also come. You're also on your way to Mathura. So then Radharani is like, yes, even I'm going to Mathura. And then Krishna is, now Krishna starts all his dramatics. So now he looks at Lalita. He's not looking at Radharani. And he tells Lalita, you know what? Sometimes I feel destiny has not been very kind to me. You see, imagine Radharani's husband. He has a beautiful wife like Radha, but he's allowing her to go to the marketplace to Mathura and sell some butter and ghee. If the destiny was on my side and I would have got Radha as my wife, I would have never allowed her to go anywhere. I would have keep her in my house on a golden throne. So, Lalita, she's very good at answering. So she says, oh, really, Krishna? You would have put her in golden throne? What if somebody would have steal the golden throne? Then Krishna says, so what? That's all right. If somebody steals a golden throne, I will keep her in the throne of my heart. But I'll never allow her to go out. Then Lalita says, oh, really? Throne of your heart? Oh, you mean to say your black heart, is it not? Because you are black, your heart is black. Then Krishna says, look, you are touching a very, very sentimental issue here. Don't go to the color of my skin, okay? Black is a very, very beautiful color and very important color. Now Lalita says, what is so important about black color? Tell me, who likes black color? Now Krishna says, oh really, Lalita? I see you have beautiful black color hair. Imagine that hair was not black and it was white in color. How would you look? Imagine the eyeballs, they are black in color. If they were white in color, how would you look? So then don't talk about color, okay? Black color is very important. Now Lalita is arguing. Then Krishna says, hold on. Why are we even arguing all these things? I have a lot of job to do. I'm not a free person. You see, I've been hired by Maharaj Kamsa, and my job is to collect tax. So let's not talk too much and let's talk about tax. How many pots are you taking? So I will, I have to decide how much tax to be collected. So Lalita says, hold on. What did you just say? You have been hired by Maharaj Kamsa? I don't think so. Maharaj Kamsa is so fool to hire a person like you. And then she just looks at Radharani and says, do you really think Kamsa hired this black fellow? I don't think so. So then Radharani says, I don't think so, because to be hired as a government servant or, the servant of a king, you need to have some qualities. You don't have any good quality. Neither you have good name in the society, because people know that you steal butter. So you don't have very good name in the society. So a person who doesn't have good name, who is going to give him a government job? Job under a king? Neither you have very good character, because a servant of a king, they have very good character. See, now just imagine, you are talking about tax, but your whole eyes are on Radharani. So do you have even a good character? You're not even looking straight. You're looking here and there, other people's wife. I don't think you have good character. So why will Kamsa hire somebody who is having that kind of character? So now when all this fighting is going on, Lalita is pulling Krishna's dhoti and chadar, and then Krishna, who is in Dwarka, and he's just reminded of all this Leela. He's crying and he's like, Lalita, don't pull my chadar. I'm telling you, don't pull my chadar. I'm telling you, don't do that. And he opens the eyes and he sees what? He's in Dwarka, lying on the bed. And all the queens are surrounded, Rukmini, Satyabhama, all of them are just looking at Krishna. And then when Krishna realizes that I'm not in Vrindavan, I'm in Dwarka. Oh, where are my gopis? Oh, where is Radharani? And then Krishna starts crying and crying. And he's crying so much that he falls down from the bed. And the queens are not able to do anything to stop Krishna from crying. So they are also crying. Now when the queens are crying and Krishna is crying, the servants who come there to serve Krishna, they are also crying. Everybody in Dwarka is crying. So yes, crying does happen in Dwarka, crying does happen in Goloka, but it's a different kind of crying. So Krishna is saying to the Adhik Maas, why are you crying? Don't cry. Nobody cries in Goloka Vrindavan. So she says, well, it's just that, everybody's treating me very badly. You are my protector. Please protect me, Lord. So then Krishna tells, all right, I'll marry you. I'll give you shelter. You become my wife. I will become the presiding deity of, of this month. So now what happens when you get married? The first thing that happens when you get married is your name changes, right? You get the husband's surname. Now you become Mrs. Sharma, Mrs. Rao, Mrs. Das, or Mrs. Mehta. So now what happens? Lord is called Purushottama. So now because the Adhik Maas got married to Lord, now the Adhik Maas was called Purushottam month, the name of the husband. Now the other thing also happens when you get married. See, if your husband is a millionaire, you also automatically become millionaire. Whatever belongs to your husband now belongs to you. So now Krishna, whatever the glory of Krishna, the qualities of Krishna, the power of Krishna, everything now got transferred to Purushottam month, the Adhik Maas. So now she became as powerful as Krishna. So Krishna said, whoever, whatever benefit one gets on worshipping me directly, they will get by following this Purushottam month. So I'm empowering you. So that is how the Purushottam month became very, very powerful. So thereon, Krishna declared that anybody who is very sincerely following the Vrata, the Purushottam month Vrata, they will get direct service of Radha and Krishna. So they will be happy in this life, in the material world, and then they will, after this life, they will go back to Krishna. So then this story Krishna is telling to Yudhishthir Maharaj that, my dear King Yudhishthir, this is how glorious the Purushottam month is. But there is a problem. Why you are suffering? Now I'll tell you this story. And he says that long, long ago, there was a Brahmana called Medhavi. Now this Medhavi Brahmins had a very beautiful daughter. His wife had left body as soon as the child was born. So this beautiful daughter of Rishi Medhavi was brought up by the father alone. So as the time passed, Medhavi Rishi was a very, very pious Rishi, performing all his duties, offering oblations, doing his tapasya, fasting, and everything is going very well. But now there is a little problem. You see, because there is no mother at home, so nobody is reminding the father that, look, your daughter has become of marriageable age, get her married. So that thought never came across the mind of Medhavi Muni. And as the days passed by, this girl's friends, her sakhis who were of her own age, they were all getting married one by one. But her father was not arranging her marriage. So now Medhavi Rishi, he just left body without getting her married. So now she was very sad, don't know what to do. Now somehow Medhavi Rishi was friends with Durvasa Muni. So Durvasa Muni came to visit her. So now when Durvasa Muni came to visit this Brahmani girl, she washed Durvasa Muni's feet, offered him flowers, offered him prasadam, served him nicely. And then she very humbly told him that my father has left me, like this, and I am not having any shelter because I'm not married. I don't have any elder brothers. So please help me. So then Durvasa Muni very kindly tells her that don't worry, you are like a daughter to me. Purushottam month is coming. So if you follow this Purushottam month Vrata, then everything will be auspicious in your life. Now this Medhavi Muni's daughter, she gets very upset. She says, what are you trying to give me some pep talk? Do you think I don't know what is this month? Everybody knows that it is a Mala Maas. Everybody knows that it is an Adhik Maas. And look at the way you are glorifying it. I have asked you for some kind of a help, and you just asking me to follow, this month. Do you think I don't know what this month is all about? Why are you just, exaggerating so much about this month? I don't believe. Now, you don't mess with Durvasa Muni. So Durvasa Muni gets very angry. His eyes are red and he's almost about to curse her. But then he stops midway and says, look, I know your pitiable condition and your father was very good friend of mine, so I won't curse you. But the way you have offended Purushottam month, definitely you are going to get the repercussions. You're going to get some sin for doing that, And then he just leaves from that place in a fit of anger. Now the moment Durvasa Muni leaves, the Brahmini girl, daughter of Medhavi Rishi, she loses all her beauty, all the opulence in the ashram is gone. She becomes very sad. What to do? Then she immediately takes shelter of Lord Shiva, who is Ashutosh. She starts doing tapasya. So it is said that she does tapasya for around 9,000 years. A very kathin tapasya, very, very hard tapasya. So she's like, when it is summer, she just lights fire all around her and she's doing tapasya. When it is winter, she's inside the cold water and doing tapasya. So after 9,000 years of tapasya, finally Lord Shiva appears. And then Lord Shiva is like, yes, what can I do for you? Now Draupadi is so happy the moment she sees Shiva. She immediately says, my lord, I want a husband. But there's a little problem here. See, sometimes when we are too excited about something, we just talk a little more than required. So what Draupadi does is, she doesn't stop there. She says 5 times, I want a husband. I request you, please give me a husband. I want a husband. Please give me a husband. Give me a husband. And Shiva is just watching all that. And in the end, he says, are you done? And she says, yes. Said, Tathastu, I give you 5 husbands. And she says, what is this? And Shiva says, but you asked 5 times. Do you think I'm deaf? You're supposed to say once, but you said 5. So I thought maybe you want 5 husbands. So you'll get 5 husbands. And then Draupadi is like crying, please don't do that. It'll be a shame. Lord Shiva says, well, I can't retreat my words, but only thing is, it won't happen in this life, but in the coming life. And then Lord Shiva also reminds her that there is no difference between me and Durvasa. Durvasa is a part of my, my body. And you have insulted Durvasa, you have insulted Purushottam month. So definitely you'll have to suffer the sin of that. And as promised, you will get 5 husbands, but 5 of them will be very, very unique. So then Draupadi and then the daughter of this Medhavi Rishi, she leaves her body after some time. And then when in the Dwapar Yuga, when the Maharaj Draupadi does a fire sacrifice, then this daughter of Medhavi Rishi comes out from the fire. And because she was the daughter of Draupadi Maharaj, she got the name Draupadi. So that is how Draupadi gets married to the 5 Pandavas. So then Krishna looks at Yudhishthir Maharaj and then he looks at Draupadi in Kamyavan when he's talking all this. And then he's telling that it is because of Draupadi's insult to Purushottam month in her previous birth that today she has to suffer all this. So Dushasan's trying to strip her in the Sabha. This has all happened because of her ignoring the Purushottam month or dealing with the Purushottam month carelessly or, insulting the month. This is what has happened. So at least now on, be very careful. Do not ignore the Purushottam month. And the coming Purushottam month, kindly all of you follow it properly. Then you will gain back your kingdom and you will gain back all your opulences. So then the Pandavas, when they were in exile, when the Purushottam month approached, they did the Purushottam month Vrata. So like this, it is very, very dangerous if somebody ignores the Purushottam month, because it's a very, very, it's a favorite month of Lord Krishna. He has given here the power to that month, his own opulence, his own name he has given to that month. So like that, there are many, many amazing stories. I've read one story in the Padma Puran. It's about a king. His name was Hadadhanva. So this king Hadadhanva, he was the son of a king called Chitradhanva. And this Hadadhanva, he was a king in Dravida Desha and very, very pious king. He had taken the kingdom from his father Chitradhanva. He got married to a beautiful queen. He had 4 sons and 1 daughter. He was following all the spiritual practices. He was ruling his kingdom properly. All the citizens were very happy with him. But once it so happened that this Hadadhanva, he went for hunting. The kings used to go for hunting. So while hunting, he went inside the forest very deep. He was trying to pursue a deer. So as he went inside deep in the forest, he lost his way. So then there was a small river there, and he took some water and he started taking rest underneath a tree. So while he was taking rest underneath a tree, he hears a parrot. And the parrot, those days the kings were very expert. They used to know the language of the birds, they used to know the language of the animals. So what the parrot is telling the king, there are some people out there who, after gaining a lot of material opulence, forget the goal of human life. So the parrot keeps repeating that. There are people out there who, after getting lot of material opulence, forget the goal of human life. So the parrot keeps telling like this. Meanwhile, the soldiers, they were searching where the king is, and they came to him, and then they escorted him back to the kingdom. But the king was day and night meditating on these words of the parrot. So after some time, Valmiki Rishi comes there. So Valmiki Rishi is asking the king, my dear king, you look very morose. What happened? So the king shares with Valmiki Muni what he heard, and he said, it's pinching me. Why did the parrot say like this? Who was that parrot? What exactly? Then Valmiki Muni, he just closes his eyes, and then he says, oh. Then he says, my dear king, that parrot was your son. He is your son from your previous birth. So then Valmiki Muni tells this very beautiful story. He says, my dear king, you were a Brahmana. You were a Brahmana residing near the Tamparani river with your beautiful wife, very obedient wife, the daughter of Gautam Muni called Gautami. And your name was Sudaiva, a very, very pious Brahmana. So you and your wife were very nicely following the Vaishnav culture, and you were a very nice exemplary couple, and you were living a very beautiful life. But the only problem that you had was you had no son. So you were lamenting. So once it so happened that after waiting for many, many years, finally when they had no child, the Brahmana Sudaiva, he got very agitated, and he was telling his wife that maybe I should just give up my life because I don't have a son. And if you don't have a son, who will offer the oblations? Who will carry forward, our lineage? What will happen? So better I leave my body. So now this Gautami, being a daughter of a rishi, she was having good knowledge. So she just counsels her husband, oh, you are a Vaishnava. You're not supposed to talk like that. Why not we worship the Supreme Lord? Maybe he can help us. Why not we worship Jagannath? So then Sudaiva, Brahmana and Gautami, they start worshipping Jagannath. So they do, tapasya, and they are chanting, and they are, doing lots of austerities, trying to please the Lord. So after around 4,000 years of tapasya, finally Lord appears in front of the Sudaiva Brahman. He comes atop his Garuda, and very, very smiling face with lots of effulgence, and he's like, yes, I'm very happy with your austerities, Sudaiva. Tell me what you want. So the Sudaiva Brahman says, my lord, I want a son. So Lord Vishnu becomes very grave, and he says, well, that is not possible. Ask me something else, because you are not supposed to have son for at least another seven lives. So ask me for something else. Now when Sudaiva Brahman, he hears that, he faints. Because he was thinking, for 4,000 years I did tapasya just for this, and now Lord says he can't give it to me. So he simply faints. So when he faints, you see Garuda, he's a Vaishnava, right? He's having lot of mercy. So Garuda goes next to Brahmana, Sudaiva, and he's fanning him, trying to, see that he gets his consciousness back. So Garuda is requesting on behalf of Sudaiva to Lord Vishnu, Lord, why not you grant him one son? Poor fellow, he's asking. So then, that is why we say, Vaishnavas are more merciful than the Lord, So then Lord looks at Garuda and says, you can also give the boon. You are as powerful as I am. So do one thing, Garuda. You give him the boon. Then to fulfill your word, I'll give him a son. So Garuda says, fine. So after some time, when he just, he gets consciousness, then Garuda tells Sudaiva, don't worry, I've spoken to Lord and he has granted, you'll get a son. So Sudaiva Brahman becomes very happy. So now Gautami she becomes pregnant, and now a beautiful son is born. They call him Sukhadev. They are very happy. So this Sukhadev is also very, very sweet boy with all good qualities. He's learning scriptures, chanting, everything is going very well in their life. So once it so happens that Devala Muni visits them. Now we all know Devala Rishi. very, 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 very prominent person. Even in Bhagavad Gita, Arjun mentions about him, right? We hear in the Bhagavad Gita chapter 10, sloka number 12 and 13, we see Ashita, Devala, Narada, right? That same Devala. So Devala Rishi comes, and he is also very happy by the hospitality, the way Sudeva and his wife, they treat him. But then Devala Rishi, when he is asked to give blessings to their son, he becomes very grave. So then Sudeva asks, what happened? So then Devala Rishi says, well, I shouldn't tell you this, dear Brahman, but your son has a very short lifespan. He will die when he will be 12 years old. So this is what his lifespan is. So then Sudeva Brahman and his wife, they become very sad. And as predicted, lo and behold, it happens one day. Their child had gone to take bath in the river with his friends. And after some time, the friends come running. And they say that your son is drowned in the water and he is dead. So now this Sudeva Brahman and his wife, they go running to the river bank, and there they see their son is lying there, dead body. So they immediately, out of affection, they just take him in their lap and they are crying. Oh, just looking at his sweet face. Oh, my dear son, please come back to life. Please talk to us. So as they are crying like this, it starts raining very heavily, torrential rains. Now, they don't know what to do. They are in complete shock. So as they're holding their child, they are praying fervently to the Lord. They are just continuously chanting the Lord's name. Now, this is the beauty of a devotee. What does a devotee do? Whenever a devotee is suffering, he goes to the Lord. When a devotee is happy also, he goes to the Lord. When he is suffering also, he goes to the Lord. What happens with the materialistic people or those who are not devotees? They have every reason not to go to Lord, right? If you speak to any materialistic people, if they are very happy and they get lot of success, then they don't want to go to the Lord, because they'll say, I'm busy, I have so much meeting, I have party, I have a lot of work. If they have sorrow in their life, then also they don't want to go. Hey, Lord is not kind to me, He didn't do anything nice to me, I have so many problems in my life, that's why I don't want to go to Lord. So whether it is sorrow or whether it is happiness, they don't want to go to Lord. But the thing with the devotee is, when they are very happy also, they want to go to the Lord. Oh, Krishna is so kind to me. When they are very sad also, they want to go to the Lord. Oh, Krishna is my only shelter. Right? This is what devotees do. Bhakta means for everything he runs to the Lord. Sometimes I see, in our temple, in the evening, Sandhya Aarti and all, it's a community, right? There are lots of grihasthas. I see small children, when they're in the Aarti Kirtan, they dance. Sometimes what happens, dancing, somebody's hand touches. Sometimes children, they fall down. If you just see small little children, the moment they get little hurt, the first thing they'll do, mummy, they'll cry and go to mother immediately. But those same children I've seen in our own community, when they grow up, they're 14, 15, teenagers, a little elder, when they fall, they don't go to mother. They take some brahmachari's help, or they take somebody else's, or they just manage. See, the bhaktas are like those small kids. For everything, they'll go to Krishna. Everything, they'll go to Krishna. Whatever happens in their life, they'll go to Krishna. The jnanis, the yogis, the dhyanis, they are like those elder sons. They will try to manage everything by themselves. But bhaktas, they're always like kids. For everything, they want to run to Krishna. Krishna is their only shelter. That's why you see, I like this bhajan by Bhakti Vinod Thakur. He says, Sukhe thako, dukhe thako, bol hari bol. Bol hari bol, bol hari bol, bol hari bol. Sampade vipade bolo, bol hari bol, bol hari bol, bol hari bol. Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, Sampade Vipade. If there is a problem or there is a prosperity, happiness, go to Krishna. If you are sukha, you are happy, go to Krishna. Oh, you are in dukkha, go to Krishna. You have a problem, go to Krishna. You have no problem, then go to Krishna. For everything, go to Krishna. That is what we are supposed to do. So now what happens to Sudaiva and Gautami? Oh, they are crying. Oh, they're crying, but they're devotees, they're Vaishnavas. So they're just holding the dead body, the child, and they're just continuously chanting and chanting and chanting. And that goes on for whole 1 month, 30 days, no food, no water. They're just simply chanting and crying, chanting and crying. Now, it's their good fortune that happens to be the Purushottam month. So now they followed the whole Purushottam Vrata for 30 days, no food, no water, and continuous chanting. So then immediately at the end of the day 30, Lord appears and says, I'm very, very happy with you. You have followed the Purushottam month. What can I do for you? So they're just looking at the Lord, we just want our child back. So then Lord says, all right, I bless that your son will live for 12,000 years. Immediately Lord blesses, and then at the end of the 12,000 year, he'll come back to me. So they become very happy, and then the life goes on. Now this same Sudaiva Brahman becomes Hada Dhanva. Now in this Hada Dhanva life, he's got busy with his material opulence, because you see, at the beginning of the class I said, Purushottam month, it does two things. It also gives you happiness in this life and after this life. So because he had followed Purushottam month, he became a king. He was a Brahmana in the previous life, and now he became a king and a pious king. Now because he had done that Purushottam month thing, a Lord made an arrangement whereby his own son Sukhadev came as a parrot to remind his father that, my dear father, enough of material opulence and enjoyment, now it's time to come back. So then he becomes very serious in his Krishna consciousness, and he follows the upcoming Purushottam month and his chanting and his sadhana, and then definitely he also goes back home, back to Godhead. So Purushottam month, it offers so many benedictions. There's another beautiful story about this glories of Purushottam month. Very famous king, Kartavirya. You must have heard about him. This Kartavirya was a very, very powerful king. He ruled the kingdom of Mahishmati, and he had hundreds of queens. But he had the same problem. He had no children. So he had married one of the daughters of King Harishchandra called Padmini. So, but he did not have any child with Padmini too. So after waiting for many, many years, finally he decided that maybe I will go to the forest and do some tapas, do some austerities and try to get the favor of the Lord. So now when he renounced his kingdom, then one queen followed him to the forest, and that was Harishchandra's daughter, Padmini. So Padmini also goes with her husband, and they both go to the forest and they do lots of tapasya. So he has been doing tapasya for like 10,000 years. But even at the end of the 10,000 years, he could not appease the Lord. So, and what happened when he was doing so much tapasya? His body became like a skeleton. There's just no muscle or fat remaining. It's become so weak. Now Padmini, having natural affection for her husband, she goes to Anusuya, Atri Muni's wife, Anusuya. They are also residing there in the ashram in the forest, and she requests, that please help us. So then Anusuya mother says, oh, all right, a very, very simple solution. She says that, the Purushottam month, if you do austerities in Purushottam month, then you can get your desired result. So then you see here, Anusuya mother, she also gives another tip. She says that if somebody is not able to follow the whole Purushottam month, then at least they should do the Ekadashi, which falls in Purushottam month. So then she talks about a very, very special Ekadashi in Purushottam month called the Padmini Ekadashi. So he said, if you do this Ekadashi, then you will get whatever you are desiring. So then this king Kartavirya and his wife, they follow the whole Purushottam month, and they also do the special Ekadashi, and they're up whole night, after the following the Ekadashi fasting. So after that, very soon she becomes pregnant. They have a son. Now because this son has been born because of the merit accumulated during the Purushottam month, he becomes very, very powerful. So he's called Kartavirya Arjun. And he has this Sahasra Bahu, he has this 1,000 hands, and is a very, very powerful king. Now he's so powerful that he's been also mentioned in connection with Ravana. So in Treta Yuga, this Ravana, he used to think about himself very, very great, that he's a very, very most powerful person. So once it so happens that Ravana, he's meditating near the Narmada river. What Ravana does, he is meditating on Lord Shiva. Now, at that same place, this Kartavirya Arjun, he is enjoying with his wives. He has 1,000 hands and so many wives inside the Narmada river waters. He's making a lot of noise. So Ravana gets disturbed. So Ravana thinks he's very powerful. So he goes and tells this Sahasravir Arjuna, hey, what do you think you are doing? Huh? Don't make so much noise. Can't you see I'm just doing some tapasya here? Don't disturb me. Now this Kartik Virya Arjun, he's so powerful, does not even look at Ravan. With one of his, he's just busy looking at his wives. With one of his arm, he just takes Ravan and, holds him like this, simply in his palm, simply like this. And he's continuing with his enjoyment, whatever he was doing in the water. Now, Ravan is completely suffocated. He can't believe that somebody can be so powerful to hold him like this. So then, all these soldiers are searching, where is Ravana? Didn't come back to his kingdom for a long time. They're searching him everywhere in the forest, and they find their king, in somebody's hand, just, and Ravana is like this, only you can see his head. So then the soldiers are like, come out, my lord. And Ravana is like, do you think if I was able to come out, I would have sit here? I'm not able to come out. He's holding me very tight. Do something. Now the soldiers don't know what to do, so they went back to the kingdom and they informed Pulatsya Muni. Now Pulatsya Muni is the grandfather of Ravana. So then Pulatsya Muni comes running, and then he requests, the Kartavirya Arjun, can you leave my grandson? He won't do it again. He won't disturb you. So then, because Pulatsya Muni requests, he just leaves Ravan. So that powerful was Kartavirya Arjun, and that is all because he was born by the merit of Purushottam month. So this Purushottam month is very, very powerful. In fact, I heard that Nrsingadev in some kalpas, he appears during Purushottam month, because you see Hiranyakashipu, he asked that I should not die inside house, outside house, daytime, night time, evening time. I should not die within the 12 months. You see, he was very intelligent. So, but Purushottam month doesn't come inside this 12 months. So he dies during the Adhik Maas, So that is what I heard, that during some kalpas, Nrsimhadev appears during the Adhik Maas. Sometimes he appears like this, sometimes he appears like that. In fact, even Nahusha, you must have heard about King Nahusha, who is in the lineage of Yudhishthir Maharaj. Actually, see, there is a system. If somebody wants to become Indra, then they have some stipulated count, You have to do that many yagyas, that much austerity. Then you become promoted to become Indra. So, Nahusha had not completed all his yagyas, what he's supposed to do, Ashwamedha yagya, but he did Purushottam month. So, of course, there is a big story of how Indra insults Brihaspati. And because he insults his guru, then he had to leave his kingdom, and then there was no king in Amravati. So they were looking for some temporary replacement. So while they're just shortlisting the candidates, somebody has finished 89 Ashwamedha, somebody has done 99, somebody has done... Then there are many, many candidates, but they select Nahusha because Nahusha does the Purushottam month Vrata. So then Nahusha becomes the acting Indra or the acting president of Amravati for a short period of time. Of course, there is another big story of how he just becomes overwhelmed by his position of Indra, and then he goes after Indra's wife Sachi, and then how Agatsya curse him, and then Nahusha becomes a serpent. That's another big story. So go some other day. So yeah, Nahusha also did Purushottam month, and so like that we see so many stories in the scriptures about the glories of Purushottam month. In fact, Srila Prabhupada also in one of his letters to Satswarup Maharaj writes about the glories of Purushottam month and how he wanted that devotees should follow this. See, basically, these months are very special because these are like some kind of a schemes, like you have these schemes in this material world where you have sale, Dasera sale, Christmas sale, Pongal sale, where you just pay less and get more. So Krishna is also, taken out this kind of a schemes for the conditioned souls where you put less effort but get more outcome, So even you do 1 round chanting, but you get the benefit of 1,000 round chanting. So like that, less effort but more fruit. So these schemes are there for attracting new people to Krishna consciousness. So Purushottama Maas is definitely very, very special. In fact, I was once hearing a class by His Holiness Jayapataka Swami Guru Maharaj, and he was saying that among all the auspicious months, he said Kartik is 100 times more auspicious, the Kartik Damodar month. But Purushottam month is 1,000 times more auspicious than the Kartik month. So now we can imagine how important the Purushottam month is. In fact, all the special, important, auspicious tithis are inside Purushottam month. I was once hearing one class by His Holiness Radhana Swami Maharaj, and he was telling that, he said that there are some temples in Vrindavan, though I have not personally seen, but he was telling in one of his classes, he said some temples in Vrindavan during the Purushottam month, they celebrate all the festivals that come all around the year. That means one day of Purushottam month, they celebrate as Janmashtami. Then second day they may celebrate as Radhashmi, as Ram Navami, Gaur Purnima, Narsim Chaturdasi. All the festivals they will celebrate in those 30 days. So because he said that much auspicious is each and every day of the Purushottam month. And I was once hearing Pankajangri Prabhu, and he was mentioning that if somebody has some kind of especially desire for son, then he said that this month it's very auspicious. If somebody wants to have a Krishna conscious child, then they can follow this month properly, then they can get the result. Of course, the Bhavishyottara Puran and the Skanda Puran and the Padma Puran, they list so many glories of what happens, This says that Valmiki Muni says that if somebody is following Purushottam month, then he gets the benefit of performing hundreds of horse sacrifice. And then there are many such things given. Like there was one place I was reading is, they said that if you just simply take bath, nothing doing, if you just take bath early morning during the Purushottam month, then it is like taking bath in a Kumbh Mela, a very special Kumbh Mela date where Brihaspati enters the Leo. That conjunction, if you are taking bath at that particular time, the Kumbha time, the kind of benefit you get is the same benefit you get by simply taking bath. Like we take bath every day, right? Like that. Simply taking bath in Purushottam month will give that much benefit. And what to speak about if somebody takes bath in a holy river? Then they said that it is like taking bath in Ganga for 12,000 years. If you just take one time bath in a holy river during Purushottam month. So like that, of course, devotees have a very beautiful interpretation. You see, the Vaishnava Acharyas. Purushottam month is called Adhik Maas and Mala Maas. So devotees say that, it's rightly called Mala Maas. Why? Because they say that the lots of mala in our heart, right? So when we follow this Purushottam Maas, then it removes all the mala which is accumulated in our heart, and cleans it. That's why it's called Mala Maas, right? So the thing is, we carry so many things from the past janma. See, in Hindi, there is a saying, they say, Khali haath aaye hai, khali haath jayenge. We have come with empty hand, we'll go with empty hand. But it is not true. It's not true. Nobody comes with empty hand. You actually come with lot of previous balance of good and bad karma. And you actually go with lots of balance of your present punya and papa, whatever you have done. See, nobody begins a balance sheet on April 1st on a empty sheet, right? There is always a balance brought forward, and then there is a balance carry forward, right? So similarly, our lives are also like that. When we are born, we just with so much balance brought forward, right? Now, what are we supposed to do with that? Let's say, now I won't commit any sinful activity, I'll do good karma, I'm in Krishna consciousness. Very good, very well. But what about your balance brought forward, which you have carried from your previous birth? So these kind of schemes, Purushottam month, Kartik month, Chaturmas, all these are like those opportunities, which is like just help you to clear your past balance. So, if somebody is doing the Purushottam Vrata, then they just clean off all the past balance, and then you can start your accounts fresh, right? So, that is why it's called Malamas. And then some Vaishnava Acharya says it is rightly called Adhik Maas because we're getting Adhik benefit, extra benefit. You chant one round, you get benefit of chanting 1,000 rounds. So yeah, definitely it's Adhik Maas, right? So I have written down what we can do in this Purushottam month. I've taken inputs from Mahanidhi Swami and from different places so that we don't miss out on anything. What we can do on this 30 days. So I'm just going to read out so that I don't miss even one. What can we do? It's more or less like Kartik month only, but still we just read one so that we can follow it, right? So the first thing is chanting extra rounds. See, actually, our standard is Man Mana Bhava Mad Bhakto. We are supposed to remember Krishna, worship him all the time. Satatam Kirtayanto Mam. But we are not able to come up to that standard. But at least if we do some extra rounds during this Purushottam month, then we'll get some extra benefits. Because we just do our 16 or 24 or something. But if we can do a little more we can push ourselves a little more, then one round is equal to 1,000 rounds in Purushottam month, especially if it's done in a holy place. So if we can do that, we can get a lot of benefits. So extra rounds. Then it says extra bhajans. Sing a lot of Vaishnava bhajans. Bhakti Vinod Thakur has prescribed that for Purushottam month, what we are supposed to do is chant Jai Radha Madhav in the morning, chant Chauragya Purushashtakam in the afternoon, Nandanandanashtakam throughout the day. We're supposed to chant Jagannathashtakam. We can chant Bhagavad Gita 15th chapter. We can chant Brahma Stuti from the 10th canto, chapter number 14, all the 40 slokas in the night. So this we can do. Nandanandanashtakam, Chauragya Purushashtakam, Jagannathashtakam. In fact, after this session, if there is time, we can just sing the Nandanandanashtakam and Chauragya Purushashtakam. If there are not many questions, we can do that. So this is what Bhakti Vinod Thakur says. And what we can do, live simply, eat simply, right? Just keeping it simple. In this 1 month, no other extra endeavors or no launching of any new projects, or not to divert our mind here and there. Just keeping it simple, living simply. And if possible, to sleep on the floor, if possible. It's optional. And then the other thing is, I said, no oil. So if possible, no oil, not even cooking in oil. One can cook in ghee. See, ghee is in the mode of ghee is in the mode of goodness, especially if it's cow ghee or if it's homemade ghee, it's very nice. Then if somebody can do eating only once, like maybe just one meal in a day, or maybe just take fruits, or maybe take one meal and then take some fruits in the evening. So that option is available. Keeping celibacy, if possible, to maintain 30 days of celibacy. And then when you are eating, if possible, you can eat on the leaf plates. Okay. The other thing is no cutting of nails, just like we do it on Ekadashi. No rubbing of oil, no cutting of nails, no cutting of hair, this whole 30 days. Okay. Then Nirapeksha Vrata. Nirapeksha Vrata means one pointed focus. Like as I said, don't start anything new projects, nothing. Simply like, see, with this corona situation, what is happening? This whole year has become like no year, no schools and colleges and everything has gone down. So people are like, we don't want to even count that this year exists. So something like that in our life also, we can just like, not this Purushottam month, we should not consider it for any other purpose except only for devotional purpose. So give a one-pointed focus on following this vrata. The other thing we can do is giving charity. See whether charity can be in kind, can be in cash, can be for a good purpose, to the right person. That is very important because we just whole day and night we are working for our own family and for our own needs. But when we use that same Lakshmi for Krishna's service, then the whole thing gets purified. So giving charity during this Purushottam month is very, very auspicious and reaps a lot of benefit. So if you're giving a rupee 1, it's like considered that you're giving 1,000 rupees donation. So giving charity. Then we at the end of the vrata or during the Purushottam vrata, it is very good if you give charity of, that is what it says in Hari Bhakti Vilas. I'm just reading directly from that volume 4, verse number 437. Says that you offer 33 milk cakes, that means milk sweets. You offer that to some Grihastha Vaishnav couple who are well versed in scriptures, who are devotees. In fact, I've seen this in Vrindavan, they follow this. I've seen many of the, during the Purushottam month, they just go to the sweet shop, they buy some sweets and they give it to the pujaris of the Goswami temples. I've seen the people doing this. So yeah, they do that. Why 33 is again, I believe because, this 32 months, after 32 months, 16 days and 8 ghadi, the Purushottam month comes. So they have something to do with that number. That is why, 32 months. So they just do 33. So that is 33 sweets you have to offer. Visiting holy places. So of course, I don't know with the Corona situation if anybody can visit holy places. But then again, you see in our Vaishnava Bhajan, it says, Gangara parasa hoile paschata pavan. But, we have to go to Ganga to get purified. But Vaishnavas purify us simply by looking at them, hearing them, serving them. So if we can't go to holy places, we can just serve the holy Vaishnavas and hear from them and serve them. So that will be like, that will be more than visiting a holy place. Then waking up early in the morning. So during the Brahma Muhurta, if somebody can wake up, we know what is Brahma Muhurta. It's 1 hour, 36 minutes before the sunrise. So if somebody should, during the Purushottam month, wake up in the Brahma Muhurta, take bath, chant holy names, and it's very beneficial. And if somebody is not able to, chant, or if they have some other, at that time some job, or they have to go somewhere, that's all right. But at least make sure that you're not sleeping at that time, because that again has an adverse effect. If somebody is sleeping during Brahma Muhurta, during Purushottam month, they had it. Next, they can do is offer tulasi, offer lotus flowers to Radha and Krishna. That is also very beneficial. Then one's supposed to be peaceful during this Purushottam month. So, no getting angry on each other, no fighting, no shouting on your children, and no couples also fighting. So, very, very peaceful. This whole month, no fighting. Even at your workplace, be very peaceful, be very truthful. And especially one should avoid making any offenses. No criticism of Vaishnavas, whether by your man, vachan, kaya, not even mentally. One has to be very, very careful not to make any offenses. Then what we can do is, we can even give scriptures in charity. That means, like we just did, Bhadra Purnima, giving Bhagavatam sets, giving Bhagavad Gita. So giving some scriptures, dana, is very good. Reading scriptures is very good. Then not to commit violence. So violence in all ways, mentally, physically. Sometimes we hurt people, we disrespect people, and that is also violence, right? When a respectable person is not respected properly, then we're killing them, right? So that is violence, of course. And those who are we're not supposed to be violent, means not only violence to humans, even animals. So those who are not on that standard, or still consuming things which are not supposed to be consumed, then they should be careful. No violence to any jiva during this month, otherwise it has a lot of adverse effect. Then serving Vaishnavas, feeding the Vaishnavas, then hearing Krishna Katha. That is why you see during the Purushottam month, many of them organize Bhagavad Saptas, Bhagavad Kathas. So hearing and reading of Srimad Bhagavatam. Then parikramas. We can do parikrama of the temple, parikrama of Tulasi, as many as possible. One can do that. Then here I have a quote from Narad Muni. Narad Muni says that Purushottam month is the best of all month, vrata and austerity, and just by faithfully hearing the glories of Purushottam month, one will get Krishna Bhakti and immediately nullify sinful reaction. So we did it. So we all heard about the glories of Purushottama. So if one simply hears also, it gives so much benefit. The sages of Naimisharanya, they say that Purushottam month is like a desire tree. Whatever desire one has, if they sincerely follow Purushottam month, they get it. Then it also says that the demigods worship Purushottam month. Even Lakshmi Devi herself, she worships the Purushottam month. So it's very, very auspicious. It's the best month for the spiritual advancement, and also if you have committed some offenses previously, then that can be nullified, So it's if somebody has done some offense. So if you follow this Purushottam month, knowingly, unknowingly, if you have committed some offense, then you get relief from that karma. So like that, we can feed the Vaishnavas. So like that, there are many, many, many things. But one thing we can do is we can recite this very beautiful sloka, which is given by Kaundinya Muni. You can just put it in the Google, or you can note it when I recite it. This has to be done compulsory 3 times in the morning, 3 times in the afternoon, and 3 times in the night. This is a very beautiful sloka by Kaundinya Muni. So it goes like this. Govardhanadharam vande, Govardhanadharam vande, Gopalam goparupinam, Gokulotsavamishanam, Govinda gopika priya. I'll recite it one more time. If you want, you can note it down. Govardhanadharam vande, Gopalam goparupinam, Gokulotsavaishanam, Govindam gopika priyam. So this has to be done 3 times. 3 times in the morning, 3 times in the afternoon, and 3 times in the evening. The other thing we can do is, just like we do in the Kartik month, offering of the ghee lamps. Now this is very, very good. In fact, even scientifically, actually, it's very good. When you burn the ghee lamp, then a certain amount of oxygen gets released in the atmosphere, and when there is a good supply of oxygen, the brain works nicely, and the brain works nicely, then we can remember Krishna properly, and we can chant properly. So ghee lamp offering is very, very good. So just like we do it in Kartik, we can do it morning, evening, or you can do it at least 1 time in the evening. Next is residing in the holy dham would be really nice, but don't know. If somebody is having Shaligram at home, you are worshipping Shaligram, then you can take up a vrata like you will offer 1 lakh tulasi leaves to Shaligram in this whole month. Something like that you can start. So if you start offering from day 1, by day 30th, you can complete the count of 1 lakh tulasi leaf. Then they say it's like, whatever you desire is fulfilled. Next, cleaning the temple every day. If you can clean that, if you're going to a temple community nearby, you can go and clean the temple. Otherwise, at your own house, you can clean your altar and all. So cleaning the temple is very good. Then accepting prasadi garlands. So during this month, if you accept the prasadi garlands, the charnamrita, so that is very beneficial. And the other thing is, taking bath in the holy river, if it's not possible, the other tip is, I'm sure all of you must be having some Yamuna water at home, right? When we go to Vrindavan, we carry some water from Radha Kund or Sham Kund. If you have some water at home, every day you can just put a few drops of water in your bucket, and so it will be equal to taking bath in the holy river. Otherwise, the other option is, I don't know if you know of that sloka. At home, when we were young, our parents used to make us do that. I think all Gujaratis, they do it. We have this sloka. We just hold the water in our hand and we just chant this. Gange cha yamune chaiva godavari saraswati narmada sindhu kaveri jalesmin. It is just, you are calling the holy rivers. Oh Narmada, oh Godavari, oh Saraswati, Ganga, Yamuna, can you please come here? Please be present here. And then, you just, jalos means sannidhim kuru, means please come, please be present here. So we just do it every day, even otherwise. just chant this mantra and then put the water back into your bucket, and then you take your bath. So that is like you have invited all the holy rivers, right? So that you can do. So you can either use the water of Yamuna, Ganga if you have in store, or you can just chant this mantra. And even if you can't do that, then just take bath in the holy river of Krishna Katha. That is one thing you can do if you forget to do this in the morning, because when we hear Krishna's Katha, that is also like taking bath in the holy river, because Krishna Katha purifies us. So that you can do. So like that, there is so many things that we can do during this Purushottam month. The best is associate with devotees, feed Vaishnavas, chant, sing, take prasadam, and at least if we can't do any of the above things, whatever we are already doing, we should do it more sincerely. So if somebody is not able to increase the rounds, if you are chanting 16, so at least if we can chant that attentively, so that is also fine. Whatever already we have taken vrata as initiated devotees, if we can do that sincerely and perfectly, and if we can make a vow that this whole month, whatever my prescribed rounds I am chanting, I'll chant it more carefully, more sincerely, hearing each and every syllabus, every name, then that is also amazing. So if somebody is following the Purushottam month, then they get happiness in this life, and they're also guaranteed to go back home, back to Godhead after this life, if somebody is following this month very, very sincerely. So I'll end it here. Thank you very much, devotees, for bearing with me. Purushottam Maas ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna. Over to you, Prabhuji. Over to you. Okay, they are in sea. Yeah. So okay. The question is that you are near the sea, so can you take bath in sea? So just like I said, that it's in your bhava. So even when you are entering the sea, you just be in that bhava, that we're not able to be in Yamuna or Ganga, but then we just consider this water body, in the same bhava. You just chant Gangecha, Yamunecha, Godavari, and then you enter the sea. We're very fortunate in Vizag. We are also next to the sea, and this is the touching the same thing. I mean, Puri, Jagannath Puri, where Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took bath. So it's very, very, auspicious, this sea. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had taken bath. Haridas Thakur body was, bathed in this ocean water. So that same thing continues, because we are very, very close to Visakhapatnam, is very close to Jagannath Puri. So yes, even if you are next to a sea or any other water body, you can do that. And while you do that, you just remember all the holy rivers and then enter. Your question is, do we eat only fruits for this month, fruits and milk? Yeah, you can do that. Yes, you can do that. Only fruits and only milk, you can do that. Or yeah, you can do that. Or just one meal in a day, and then rest of the time, maybe just one meal like lunch or something, and the rest of the time you can take fruits, or you can completely do it with fruits. Yes. Why not you put it in the chat box? Can you put the sloka? Oh, you got it? Okay, then you please put it in the chat box. It's just say Kaundinya Muni. Kaundinya Muni, Kaundinya, Kaundinya Muni, and you just put the starting one, Govardhana Dharam Vande. You put it and you will get it, or otherwise Venu Prabhu can put it in the chat box. And this is recorded also, so you can always rewind it and write it down. I think it's there in the internet. It's very much there. Okay, what do you want me to sing? Nandanandanashtakam or Chauragya Purushashtakam? You can share the screen, Prabhu, if you have this. So then, if you have it, you can share the screen. Okay. So there's no accompaniment of music. I'll just sing it for you. I don't have anybody here playing. Okay. Vraja prasiddham navanita choram Gopanganam chadukulachoram Aneka janma jitapapa choram Choragraganyam पुरुषं नमामि व्रजप्रसिद्धं नवनीतचोरं गोपाङ्गनं चारुकुलाचोरम् अनेकजन्मार्जितपापचोरं चोराग्रगण्यं पुरुषं नमामि श्रीराधिकाया हृदयस्य चोरं नवं बुधाश्यामलकान्तिचोरं पादाश्रितानं च समस्तचोरं चोराग्रगण्यं पुरुषं नमामि अकिञ्चनीकृत्य पादाश्रितं या करोति भिक्षुं पतिगेहहीनं केनापि यहो भीषणचोरयिद्रे दृष्टा श्रुतो वा न जगत्त्रयापि यदि यनामापि हरति अशेषं गिरिप्रसारन्नपि पापराशिम् आश्चर्यरूपो ननु चोरयिद्रे दृष्टा श्रुतो वा न मया कदापि धनं च मानं च तथेन्द्रियाणि प्राणं च हृत्वा मम सर्वमेव पालायसे कुत्र धृतोऽध्यचौरा त्वं भक्तिदाम्नासि माया निरुद्धा चिनत्सि घोरं यमपाशबन्धां भिनत्सि भीमं भवपाशबन्धां चिनत्सि सर्वस्य समस्तबन्धं नैवात्मनो भक्तकृतं तु बन्धां मनमनसे तामसारासि घोरे कारागृहे दुःखमये निबद्धा लाभाश्वहे चोरहरे चिराया स्वचौर्यदोषोचितमेव दण्डम् कारागृहे वस सदा हृदयमध्ये मद्भक्तिपाशदृढबन्धननिश्चलन्सान् त्वं कृष्ण हे प्रलयो कोटिशतन्तरेऽपि सर्वस्वचोरहृदयन्न हि मोचयामि सर्वस्वचोरहृदयान्न हि मोचयामि। श्री चौराग्य पुरुषाष्टकम की जय। This was not much like singing, it was more like pronouncing the slokas, but I just hope it's helpful to the devotees, the pronunciations. Share the screen for this Nandanandanashtakam. सुचारुवक्त्रमण्डलं सुकर्णरत्नकुण्डलं सुचर्चिताङ्गचन्दनं नमामि नन्दनन्दनं सुदीर्घनेत्रपङ्कजं शिखिखण्डमूर्धजम् अनङ्गकोटिमोहनं नमामि नन्दनन्दनं सुनासिकाग्रमौक्तिकं स्वच्छन्ददण्डदन्तिकं नवं बुधङ्गचिक्कनं नमामि नन्दनन्दनं नमामि नन्दनन्दनं नमामि नन्दनन्दनं नमामि नन्दनन्दनं नमामि नन्दनन्दनं करेणुवेणुरञ्जितं गतिकरीन्द्रगञ्जितं करेण वेणुरञ्जितं गतिकरीन्द्रगञ्जितं दुकूलपीतशोभनं नमामि नन्दनन्दनं त्रिभङ्गदेहसुन्दरं नखद्युतिसुधाकरम् अमूल्यरत्नभूषणं नमामि नन्दनन्दनम् सुगन्ध अङ्गसौरभं उरोविराजकौस्तुभं स्फुरं श्रीवत्सलञ्चनं नमामि नन्दनन्दनम् वृन्दावनसुनागरं विलासनुगवाससं सुरेन्द्रगर्वमोचनं नमामि नन्दनन्दनम् व्रजाङ्गनासुनायकं सदा सुखप्रदायकं जगन्मनाप्रलोभनं नमामि नन्दनन्दनम् श्रीनन्दनन्दनाष्टकं पठेद्याश्रधन्विता तरेद्भवाब्धिदुस्तरं लभेतदाङ्घ्रियुग्मुखं नमामि नन्दनन्दनं नमामि नन्दनन्दनं नमामि नन्दनन्दनं नमामि नन्दनन्दनम् Shri Nandanashtakam ki jai. It says here that whoever regularly recites the Nandanashtakam will easily cross the seemingly unsurmountable ocean of material existence and attain
Sab Krishna Krishna